Hulk Hogan is perhaps the most protected pro wrestler of all time. Hogan has rarely lost a major matchup, and if he's been booked to lose, there's usually been some shenanigans to protect Hogan's character and image. However, there are a number of wrestlers who have the distinction of holding a clean victory over Hogan during their careers. But which wrestlers were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 wrestlers who defeated Hulk Hogan clean. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10. Brock Lesnar. Now, there is some debate as to whether Brock Lesnar's victory over Hogan on SmackDown in 2002 truly counts as a clean victory. Now, for some context, during their match, Paul Heyman got involved and distracted Hogan on the apron. Lesnar was then able to hit an F5 on Hogan, but he didn't go for the cover. Instead, Lesnar waited for Hogan to recover before locking him in a bear hug, giving Lesnar the submission victory. And due to the amount of time between Heyman's interference and Lesnar securing the win, it's fair to class this as a clean victory for Lesnar. This was Lesnar's biggest win to date, and it came as a big surprise at the time that Hogan had agreed to put over the youngster. According to reports which circulated back in 2002, a featured matchup between Hogan and Lesnar was initially set to take place at the Survivor Series pay-per-view. However, this never took place. But with it on the creative agenda, it was likely that Hogan put over Lesnar with the idea of getting his win back at Survivor Series. Number 9. Goldberg. Goldberg's rise to popularity truly peaked in 1998 when he went one-on-one with Hollywood Hulk Hogan on Nitro in 1998 in front of 40,000 fans at the Georgia Dome. When it was announced, it was unclear if fans would get a clean finish, as this was an episode of Nitro. This wasn't exactly a special WCW pay-per-view. It was expected that there would be a non-finish and the two would meet down the road on pay-per-view for the WCW title, but this isn't what happened. WCW decided to pull the trigger on Goldberg and have him defeat Hogan for the WCW title. It was a totally clean victory, and it made Goldberg look like an absolute megastar. Number 8 is Jacques Rougeau. Most fans know Jacques Rougeau for his time in WWE as the infamous Mountie character. Rougeau's run in WCW often goes under the radar, as it was rather underwhelming. That is with the exception of one major victory that he secured in 1997. At a live event in Montreal, Hulk Hogan lost clean to Rougeau in one of the biggest upsets in wrestling history. Now, there are lots of rumors surrounding why Hogan decided to allow Rujo to defeat him clean. One urban legend is that Hogan was paid $10,000 to lose, but this is heavily denied. The more believable rumor is that Hogan had a ton of respect for Rujo and wanted to put him over in his home country, and if this is indeed the case, this was a rare selfless act from the Hulkster. Number 7. Roddy Piper. The main event of Starrcade in 1996 saw two arch rivals collide once more as Roddy Piper went one-on-one with Hulk Hogan. Now, although the two men were past their prime, they did their best to put on a great main event, and it actually resulted in Piper receiving a clean victory over his ultimate rival with the sleeper hold. The match had interference from the Giant, but this was in Hulk Hogan's favour, meaning that Piper was able to defeat Hogan whilst keeping the 7-foot Giant out of the action. Hogan did eventually get his win back at 1997's Super Bowl event, but the significance of Piper's victory can't be diminished. Number 6. Lex Luger. Now, although Lex Luger was presented as a star in WWE, it was in WCW where he truly ascended to the top. In 1997, Luger was one of the most popular babyfaces in WCW, and they decided to finally put the world title on him. WCW would do this by booking Hogan vs Luger for the WCW title on a random Nitro in August of 1997. To finish the match, Luger would lock Hogan in the devastating torture rack, and the bell would be called, giving Luger the best victory of his career. Sadly, his title run would be short-lived, as just a few days later at the Road Wild pay-per-view, Hogan would defeat Luger to win the WCW title once again. Number 5. Sting. One of the occasions where Hulk Hogan should have without a doubt lost clean was at the WCW Starrcade pay-per-view in 1997. This was when Hogan faced Sting for the WCW title in the culmination of an acclaimed feud between Sting and the NWO. The finish of the match was so complex that it killed Sting's credibility, and it actually made some fans turn their backs on WCW forever. Now, fast forward to 2011, and Hogan and Sting would meet once again on pay-per-view, this time at the TNA Bound for Glory event. This match would act as Hogan's last ever pay-per-view encounter, and he would actually put over Sting clean for the first time in his career. The finish came when Sting locked in the Scorpion Deathlock and Hogan would tap out. Following Sting's submission victory, TNA would book an angle which saw Hogan turn face and side with Sting. This is often discussed more than Sting's victory itself. Number 4. The Ultimate Warrior. WWE made history at WrestleMania 6 when they booked the two biggest babyfaces in the company to collide in a champion versus champion showdown. The then WWE champion Hulk Hogan would then meet the then Intercontinental champion The Ultimate Warrior in a winner-takes-all match. Now, fans were split on who they wanted to win the Ultimate Challenge, as both superstars were incredibly popular and it was unclear who WWE would book to win the match. They eventually decided to have the Warrior win the matchup in clean fashion. Now, this was a huge deal for Warrior and truly made him an absolute megastar in the eyes of WWE fans. Unfortunately, his run as WWE champion fell rather flat, and by the time the next WrestleMania came around, Hogan was back in the WWE title scene. Number 3. Kurt Angle. When it was announced that Kurt Angle would meet Hulk Hogan at the King of the Ring pay-per-view in 2002, Vince McMahon made the executive decision to have Hogan tap out to the ankle lock to give Angle a huge victory. Now, this was a huge deal, and it didn't just put Angle over, it made his finishing move look incredibly legitimate. Angle would discuss Hogan's reaction to hearing the news that he was going to lose clean to Angle during an AMA on Reddit. The Olympic gold medalist revealed, "I remember meeting with Vince McMahon and Hogan came into the room. Vince was just off to the side. Basically just said, we're looking at each other, and I hear Vince say, 'Alright Terry, you're going to tap out to Kurt Angle tonight.' Terry paused for about 5 seconds and he looked me in the eyes and he said, 'Okay, let's do this.'" Number 2. The Rock. Hulk Hogan's 2002 return was initially supposed to involve a matchup with Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 18, but when that fell through, they opted for the next best thing. Hogan would face The Rock at WrestleMania, and this turned out to be the right decision, as Hogan and The Rock had one of the most entertaining and beloved matches in WrestleMania history. Going into the match, Hogan would be the heel whilst The Rock would be the face. However, during the match these roles would be reversed, as the crowd simply couldn't get enough of Hogan's antics. Hogan did the right thing in the match by putting over the young star cleanly in a true passing of the torch moment. The two would meet once more at the No Way Out pay-per-view in 2003, and although The Rock was once again victorious in the match had a screwy finish which was done in order to protect Hogan as much as possible. And number 1, Triple H. Following WrestleMania 18, WWE decided to put the WWE title on Hulk Hogan. Hogan was incredibly popular and they wanted to capitalize on this popularity whilst they could. This meant that Triple H had to drop the title to Hogan, which complicated WWE's plans, as Triple H was supposed to be the top babyface in the company during his title run. Nevertheless, Hulk Hogan would defeat Triple H at the Backlash pay-per-view to win the title, and fans often assumed that this was their only 1v1 matchup, but this isn't actually the case. In the summer of 2002, the two legends would have a rematch on SmackDown, and it actually saw Triple H defeat Hogan clean with the pedigree. Out of all the names to defeat Hogan cleanly, Triple H is often the one that gets forgotten about by fans. But there you have it folks, 10 wrestlers who defeated Hulk Hogan clean. Be sure to leave your comments down below and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.